Yo guys, James here, and let's start the series on how to beat X. And today we start with Warrior Healer. I'm not specifying any type of healer because the strat it's always the same. Some healers are more aggressive, like Resto Shaman and Disc Priest. Others are more defensive, like Paladin. But but if you face good ones, all of them will have to be aggressive in order to kill you. So what you want to do mostly in terms of strats, it's just dot the warrior, CC the healer, get the trinkets on a big CC like a fear into clones and into a spell lock if you think you can kill. If not against druids, mostly don't spell lock, don't CS randomly because then they can get clones. And then you reset the matchup again with clones on the warrior, and you go again. And either on the second or the third go, you should be able to kill bad warriors. Now, as you go up, the warriors will be better at stopping the CC they should. So, for example, if it's a good warrior, he will charge my druid clone and or fear him and try to kick me. So it's mind games. We always start both casting the CC in some games because we know that the warrior can always try to stop one of us with an intercept, right? So I'm gonna show you 4 games and I'm gonna pause the moment. Keep in mind I didn't play perfectly, but we did gain rating yesterday and we faced a lot of warrior healers. That's why I'm making this one first because I have the clips of 2.2k plus MMR teams and it they are pretty much the best teams we faced yesterday. In a 1 hour and a half session around that, we gained 110 rating. The gear for Sebe, which is my druid, um, just makes a huge difference. And within a week, we pushed like 500 rating almost, or 400 rating. Um, but yeah, let's start this. And I'm gonna put some music first. No, first I'm gonna let's see. The first game will be against Warrior, Resto Shaman.
Sweet.
Now, this is a loss. I remember this game. And let's put some music because I fucked up. And but I wanted to include this because we were in a winning position, right? And we lose. And I want to show you how really fast shit goes down on TBC. Firstly, especially in the first season, right? So the general strat, it's the same. CC healer, dot the warrior, kill the warrior while you CC the healer. Let's say, as you can see, our gear is still pretty bad. So we need to make it up with a little bit of skill at least. We faced this team quite a bit, and we never lost to them. I think this is the first loss to them. They rush us, so we just go to the other side. Tremor is down there, and whenever the shamans do this, just go to the other side to force them to make another tremor up. If he's good, he's going down, right? And he puts the tremor. But if he goes down, then you just pump the warrior. Now he's a gnome, which makes things harder because of escape artist. And here I get a slow on the shaman, and I can't get the slow on the warrior. He gets it. We stun him, and now they pop heroism. We know that they are going completely ham, and what you want to do is fear the shaman. Now I didn't notice that he put tremor down here, up here. So I just willed the fear, and I fear the shaman. I've sent my pet is on the fear, so I can't kill the tremor fast enough, and he gets the tick of the tremor. Here I noticed that he must have tremor, and I send my pet to it. Or I notice a tremor and I send the pet. And here it's where we win. Okay, if I'm not spaced out, because I've seen Sebe die a lot to that wish, and the warrior has trinket, which means he can't NS clone. Here it's where we should win. No trinket, a full bash into an NS clone. Now He gets the Earth Shield on the warrior, NS clone now. There you go. And here it's a win. Okay. Now the only reason why we lose it's because I was bad. No other reason. He's 24% and he uses engineering belt. There you go. And he reflects one Searing Pain. Here, instead of casting another Searing Pain, he has Curse of Tongues. But shamans also have NS, and I kind of forgot because we don't face that many Resto shamans. So here, if it's instead of a Searing Pain, if it's a Fear, we win. He just can't get the NS, even a spell lock. And I say that to Sebe after that it was a win. I just fucked up, right? So that's about it. It's a misplay from me, which results in a loss. But we were ahead all the time. This is just to show you that one small mistake can actually just give you like a loss. Now let's go to Warrior Paladin. Now Warrior Paladin, it's the same exact strat. You CC the Paladin and you go on the Warrior. Now they are playing behind the pillar because the warrior wants to get a charge. He gets it, even though I'm also pressing Curse of Exhaustion. He does get the charge, he roots me, and now he goes on Sebe. And now this is scary. He pops Death Wish and he has Trinket, which means Sebe can't NS clone. If he NS clone before he uses Trinket, he just Trinkets the NS clone and has 100% uptime. It's not only that though. Paladin still didn't use Freedom. That's why I still have Curse of Agony. So I need to either get a CC on the Paladin or CS him in order to Curse of Exhaustion the warrior. Because even if I get like a Curse of Exhaustion in the freedoms, that means he has that I need to get the freedom. That I just need to get the freedom, right? And sometimes Devour resists. So I rather play safe. I get full dots on him and I start to pump him. Here, Sebi's, I kicked him, I Curse of Exhaustion, and here, I don't really need to coil the warrior, which I'm about to do for Sebe to get away from him, but at the same time, I don't want to risk it because he still has 23 seconds of Death Wish with the Gruul's Trinket as well. So I just coil him, he gets away, the Paladin wants to hodge, I already faked the warrior and I go for a fear. Now here I know it's gonna be a trinket. He popped Divine Illumination, so I know it's gonna be a trinket and I precast the other fear. And I put Curse of Tongues during his most valuable defensive, pretty much. I get another fear because Curse of Tongues is completely broken against Paladins. And I dot him up. I go with my pet here for one reason only. To do some damage to him and to be in line in case the Paladin ever gets away. But it was kind of a misplay because he just gets a crit. And the pet just, with one Mortal Strike and the auto attack, the pet just loses half HP. And now he dies. He dies because of this as well. He intercepted me. I trinket into a mace stun, a full mace stun, and I can't help funnel. The Paladin bubbles, else the warrior dies, and you can't bubble while in Cyclone. He kills the pet, and here I decide, okay, I have two choices here, pretty much. I either go aggressive, summon a pet, and I stay aggressive, or I just play the passive game, force the Paladin out, and never lose another pet. And that's what I decide. And I fuck up here because I see him cast a heal now, and I use Spelllock. And I think it's like very close. There you go. Like it's so close. It's actually so close. The Paladin also timed it perfectly, I think. Yeah, he did. So it wouldn't be a Spelllock. This one would be a Spelllock though. But even here, if I Spelllock, it was a really bad Spelllock because he's pretty much full HP. I fear the charge. The moment I see the warriors like going to Sebe, I just fear him to get this. Because if I get the fear on the charge, now all of the sudden he's stuck hitting me, which is probably the worst target out of the three, me, my pet, and Sebe. So now we are just chilling. Paladin has mana, but Sebe still haven't innervated, I think. He gets a Mace stun. And now the Paladin hodged the pet to get a turn evil, so he could free cast. Which is actually pretty good play if he doesn't go for a hodge on Sebe. I fake him and get thrown out by the tornado. I fear them. I get the blessing of freedom. I slow him. Sebe gets fucked by the tornado again. But the warrior also does so. Now all we need is, for example, here we can be super aggressive. Like Sebe can go in and just go for a charge stun, a charge route into a clone or something on the paladin, and we can win. But we were kind of far ahead, and he didn't have mana. I think he wanted to drink at some point here. Now the paladin comes out, and I think I want to fear him. I resist this, and the paladin just lines. But even if he didn't line, I get mace stunned. Now I have spell lock here, but it's completely useless. He jukes my kick with the turn evil, and he turns evil. And it doesn't turn evil. This is a mistake from the paladin. I also call the pet, so the pet doesn't get like if you get juked on turn evil or anything on the paladin, you can just fully fear the pet for 8 seconds, and it's 8 seconds where you don't have devour, and he can actually go in and just hodge one of us. He's trying to slow me, but I'm just running because Sebe is drinking. I call him just for that. The paladin wanted to go for a hodge, but the pet is in between. The warrior is gonna be this position. It's insanely good against them. We just need to be like patient. For example, here the warrior is about to have intercept, and I send my pet on the paladin. Right? It just went on the paladin. Here, it's very scary because if it's a really good warrior, you can just intercept the pet and just hit him. And I'm kind of forced to just call the pet out. I'm getting mace stunned to oblivion. I get full dots again. Here I could have tongues him, and here it's a notion of okay, I'm playing passively at this point, and I'm letting him cast. I want him to go home. Like it's as simple as that. We have a huge mana lead, so I don't really want to even CS him or Curse of Tongues him. I actually want him to go home to give the false notion to the warrior that he's fine, because he's not fine. I get a fear. I could have precasted the fear, but what I realized was, okay, if I don't precast fear, the DR is gonna be up faster, which means in 20 seconds we can win. Which is kind of what happens, or it would happen if the warrior didn't went back. The paladin wants to drink. I summon a new pet because my pet is Maeston. Sebi is telling me he's fine, but I want him to drink, which he does. I want him to be like super far ahead in mana. Now this seemed like it was about to hit him, but it didn't. So I had to move. And because of this, he gets a lot of mana because now I get knocked by the tornado on the tick that it would actually stop him. And he gets like 40% mana because of it. But it doesn't really matter. Like, we can just go again. We just need to be patient. We don't need to win in the first 2 seconds of the game every single game against warriors. He gets a War Stomp clone. And here it's just we force the warrior out. He intervenes to the paladin. I could have kicked this, but I choose not to because I knew I wanted to fake cast. I put Curse of Tongues. Now they go on the pet to force the pet out so he can heal. This is what good warrior healers will do. They force the pet out so they can actually kick it. And I'm like, okay, it has Blessing of Sacrifice anyways. Let them cast and go kind of boom again. Let's just not let the paladin drink. The warrior gets the charge on me again, and now pops Death Wish. Now, every time a warrior pops Death Wish and he has Trinket available, it's an oh shit moment. Because he's gonna Trinket the first clone. Now, if he's good, he just reflects the second one. But he doesn't. Now I want to recover. It doesn't have a trinket. I do a misplay. I just bring the warrior to the Sebe because I'm not tracking fear. I need to start tracking fear, and he just fears Sebe, which forces a trinket. We bash him, and here it's a win. Now the paladin is going for a hodge. I know of that, but Hodge has like a percent. The paladins have like a talent that makes their spells not undispellable, but with a high chance of resisting these spells. And since we don't face that many holy paladins, I wasn't really aware of that. And he gets a Hodge on Sebe when I could have feared earlier before he actually got a Hodge. Now I get a full fear here as he intercepts stuns me. As you see, I just used I used like Devour like 0 point something after he got the Hodge, but he got resisted. You still see the icon above Sebe's head. And now they don't have trinket for 20, and we know we can actually win. I coil, he roots, and we both go on the paladin to CC him. I could have went this side where he is right now, and Sebe could have went this, and the paladin can't heal. But we went both the same side. Doesn't matter though because the paladin needs to heal. He has stung and he just got kicked, and now it's a loss. He still reflects the amulet, but at this point the cast is almost over. It's actually faster than stopping the cast, getting Curse of Weakness, as you can see, because it was still on global and it would put me on global, so I just cast it and I know he's gonna die. I also used CS, but it was on a clone, so it's the trick here is to be patient. It's just to be patient, wait for your opportunity, and you win. Now this is the hardest of them all. It's Warrior Druid, but since we face this one the most, we already know what to do. More specifically, it's like it's always the same strat, but for example, they don't really all in you, right? They don't have the tools to all in you like a Resto Shaman Warrior have. So here the idea is just to CC the Druid and kill the Warrior whenever he doesn't have life blooms. And their start was really bad actually. Because I jump the charge, I remember this game, I jumped the charge and I jumped the pounce. So he actually needs to pounce me, I jumped it, and the Warrior needs to intercept me to get in. And here, if I want, the Warrior won't touch me again. I just wanted to go for the Druids, but if I want, I can just run around and the Warrior will never touch me again. But I wanted to be aggressive. I spell lock him, Sebe also kicks him. I fully fear him, and here it's actually so bad for them. I call the Warrior already trinketed, and I keep casting Searing Pain. I don't reapply. I do reapply actually curse tongues. Here I should have just spam damage. Here I fat fingered Feldom, and I wanted to, and I listen the sound, right? And since I fat fingered it, I wanted to spell lock, double spell lock. So here it has like one life blown, and Sebe actually clones it. Since I was kinda triggered and the Feldon was about to run out, I just spell lock him. And now I fat fingered the fucking succubus, actually, and I noticed, I stopped. And I get the Fell Hunter. He clones the warrior again, and here he war stomps. This actually happens to be a good play because the warrior doesn't have any hots or has one rejuve, and I spell lock him on nature, so he can't even heal the warrior. Yeah, he has nothing, and it's a win at this point. No trinket. Warrior's in the root. Whenever you get to this position where the warrior is rooted and you're about to CC the healer, here I could have casted the fear actually instead of Curse of Exhaustion, but I didn't want to like miss any second on the CCs because he still can't heal the warrior because of LOS. So I just wanted to slow him into a fear. Because I can, like, if he gets one life bloom, I can devour it, right? But he doesn't get a life bloom because Sebe just used that as clone and the warrior just dies at this point. He kicks the Searing Pain, but doesn't matter. I even started to like cast a Fear, but the warrior just died. And now I'm gonna show you another clip against the same team. We faced them like twice. And we faced the third warrior druid, but the third one was a longer game and I actually didn't record it. Where we resetted the fight like many times and then we won. Because sometimes that, like, not all games are this perfect, and I want you to notice how trivial, even though I do a lot of mistakes, how trivial we make these teams look. They are 2.2 something MMR, like almost 2.3k MMR, which is almost Gladiator. And we have no gear, and we make them look super trivial teams, like we make them look like a 1.5k team. It's because even though I do mistakes and Sebe does mistakes, we are so much better that they don't really matter most of the time. Only against that Resto Shaman Warrior, for example. Now here, he bounces me into Clone. Now, when I see him cast Clone, I could have just legit just kick him, right? And I should have. I should have because the warrior doesn't have HOTS. Now, at the time, it seemed pretty decent for me to get cloned because they don't get pressure on me. What I forgot though is that some teams love going your pet, and that's what they do with it. They just go on the pet, but you felt like the warrior didn't really want to go on the pet because he started to run here and then he goes back to the pet. So it didn't seem like they thought about the strat. They just bounced me into clone. But I guess the druid wanted to go on the pet, the warrior wanted to go on me or my druid. Now they go on the pet and Sebe just clones him. And all of a sudden it's really weird for them because it's perfect. I'm still in the clone, but I'm gonna get out before the warrior. Now I spell lock the clone. Sebe was ready to kick. It doesn't because I kicked him. And he clones the warrior again, I think, or roots. Yeah, he clones the warrior again. And here, if I fake the game, it's almost over because I just fear we force trinket instantly from the druid because now we get a lot of pressure on the warrior. The druid kicks me. It was a good play from him. I fucked up, not even trying to juke him. It's still hard to know when they are gonna kick you or not because it's like we are not facing the best players, obviously, but we are not facing scrubs or really bad players. So it's the limbo where you don't really need. Sometimes it's actually harder to play against these players than really good players because you know you're gonna get you're gonna get kicked there, so you're gonna fake. But here you never know. So the druid goes around. Sebe was trying to clone him, and we notice that the only way he can go it's this way. And just look at our position. I dot him. The moment I dot him, I go to this place. Sebe also goes because we know he needs to come from this place. Now, if the druid is good, he doesn't really need to go all around. He can just be here, for example. But again, we are not facing the best players ever. And the druid goes all around. Now, Sebe is already casting clone and he told me, but I brain froze. And I didn't really want to do anything on the warrior yet, but since I saw the clone, I instantly cast Stimulate. Because sometimes, I don't know, like he can trinket, he can fear me, or he can trinket and intercept stun. You never know what these players do. Now I get an Immolate, and we get a lot of pressure from here. He gets another clone, and here, I don't know if I get a fear, but here, if I just CS the druid here, oh no, we resisted. Yes, yes, I knew it wasn't a fuck up of me. At the time I thought, why didn't I CS him? What? But it was a resist. I was super confused. He resisted my CS. If he doesn't resist my CS, it's a trinket. But okay. Anyways, I get the fear regardless and the trinket. The difference here is if I CS into a fear, then it will get another fear because I'm already gonna be pre-casting fear because I know it's a trinket, it's super low HP, right? And it has that wish, which we clone. This clone is really fucking good because we force the trinket out of the warrior before he even touches me, and he gets cloned again, I think. No, it doesn't get cloned again. Because it was out of line. Now this is the scary moment where Warrior has full uptime and I don't really have HOTS. Sebe isn't a clone, but I do get a fear on the Druid. It can't really re-clone. And now he's going on my pet. He doesn't want to come here, and this is a good decision from the Warrior not going here, because here you lose, and you're gonna about to see why you lose if you go here as a Warrior. Now the Druid interrupted from down here the clone from Sebe, and now he started to cast a clone, and he gets it because Sebe charged the guy to try to LOS, and it was very close to LOS, but he couldn't. They fear him out, he trinkets, he tries to cast an hibernate. I have spelllock, but Sebe tells me he's gonna war stomp, so he war stomps, he clones the druid here. And the warrior is still on my pet. Like here I should have brought the warrior here because I know Sebe is gonna root him. He's not on the R, and then I go up. But I go up instead because I wanted to get a fear, which was kind of a mistake. He gets kicked, Sebe. I get Maestun. If I don't get Maestun, it's not a win, but it's the start of a win because he still has life plums, right? And he gets another Maestun, and I get a fear here. The fear padding was really good for us because now Sebe is free to go for the druid. Here I should have been following the druid to get another fear. The life blooms are about to go off, but it's I noticed that he has 3 life plumes about to go off and he won't die right now, so I don't follow. I'm keeping my pet on the warrior, which is a mistake at this point. He gets a war stomp, but I get a fear just to stop the clone. And now we know we are not going to be able to kill because the warrior is 67% and we used all the DRs on fear. So it's kind of like a reset and he's going really hard. We do get a clone, but he kicks my fire and my stuns me, and all of the sudden we can't kill. Maybe we could have killed if I don't get Mace stun, but it's something you always need to like think is gonna kick you and Mace stun you. We get another reset. Every time we get roots, it's to reset, pretty much. The fear DR is almost over. He kills the pet. I summon a new pet. He clones me. I could have kicked it, but again, like nothing is happening, right? And the kick is not bad. All I need to do after this is not forget Soul Link. He clones me to go clone Sebe, by the way. He war stomps into clone. I can't get it because the pet is war stomped as well. And they clone him. First global Soul Link. And he goes on my pet. I call the pet here, and here I'm like, okay, if you go on my pet, I'm gonna take you out of in a spot where it's really bad for you. Now the druid, their druid, if my druid is up and I have the pet up, their druid should never be here. It should be around here, and you're gonna see why. I have spelllock for his clone, which means we are always in an advantage in terms of CC. You're gonna see why the warrior shouldn't have followed me. And this is what you need to do, is like bring the warrior into a spot where if you root him, you can fully CC the druid. Now the druid gets spelllocked on clone. Now he wants to kick Sebe on clone. Sebe is not casting. And now Sebe casts a root. He jukes to kick. This play was pretty insane. He clones the druid. He roots the no. He clones the druid. Yeah. We get a reflect with Curse of Weakness. He roots the warrior. Now check this position. This is so beautiful. This is why I love TBC. The warrior never thought this would happen to him, I bet, while he was down here just bumping me. We have a full root, a full clone. I don't have hamstring, and even if I did had hamstring, this would have been enough. I'm going max range in case the root breaks. I go instantly around the corner, Sebe still seeing the druid, and here I go in. I don't peek. to fear the druid and do damage instantly to the warrior, because if the root breaks, he gets an intercept. So I go into the bridge. As you can see, the warrior can't do anything to me. He's still 77%, and you must be thinking, oh, he's fine, right? But he has no hots, and I have full dots. I get a fear as the druid wants to go out. I see the trinkets. I come down. He gets rerouted. Here I have two options. I can just pump him, which I do with one Immolate. And here I know Immolate pretty much always breaks the roots. And I call him instantly. You see the coil? In case he wants to charge me. Because if he charges me, the druid is on the Aron clone and he survives. Unless my druid... okay, let's imagine I don't coil him. He intercept stuns me because he has it. My druid clones him. But he doesn't die. It's gonna be really hard. You can clone him twice, 12 seconds. It's gonna be really close. I still have Spelllock. Maybe he dies, but he's still 51%. It's gonna be really close to kill him within like a few seconds. So I call him. I don't go on him. I let my druids do all the work because he doesn't have clone. You can't clone the druid, or you can, but a really small clone. So I go in and I fear him. Here I know for sure he's gonna trinket because he has it, and the warrior is getting pumped. So I fear him. He trinkets instantly, and I'm already casting the fear. Even though he trinkets, he wants to stop me from casting. Sebe roots, and I get the fear at the same time. But the fear, it's not really to get him something. It's because Sebe is telling me he's gonna bash. And now you get the fear into a bash. And the warrior is just dead. It has Corruption, Immolate, Siphon Life, and I can just spam a Searing Pain. It charge stuns me. And since charge or intercept stuns me, just check. Like, it's so long. And the Moonfire kills him. And here we can still, and I show it to Seve. I said it's such an overkill. I started to dot the Druid because the warrior was outranging me, by the way. And I want to get at least a corruption to get a Shadow Trance proc, which I didn't, or I did, but after the warrior died. And here I still have Spelllock, 3 seconds. And off the Spelllock we have Clone. The warrior there, it's such an overkill. It's just over. The moment and all it started was with the warrior going down. Here. Right? Warrior went down. Here. Sebe outplayed the druid. He thought the clone would be on him. He tried to reflect it. But of course it wasn't. And of this, I don't go overly aggressive because I know the game is over. Even though he has Trinket in 9 and the warrior is 77%. We have so much CC. And I'm gonna not stop this just so you guys can enjoy, because I thought this game was so fucking beautiful. Here it doesn't matter if they are good or not. And here, even if he kicks me, I can just CS him. My pet is on the warrior, so I just CS the druid. Like, it was so beautiful. This was actually a 2-1 MMR. But yeah, I think you can see how these last two games, how easy it is. You can win the games really fast. Really, really fast. And without big problems against them. You just need to be focused and recognize that, okay, the warrior is 77%, the druid isn't a clone. I could be Searing Paining him. But if I go onto the druid that is cloned and I fear him, my dots will still keep ticking. And at the same time, I just completely CC the druid. The warrior will be around 40% by that time, or 50% by that time. And if I CC him again, the warrior will be at 20%. And I have Spelllock, like it's over. You just need to recognize the moment when you just need to go for CC and just fucking CC the druid forever. And you can't let the druid, how do you say it? You can't let the druid, because fear can bring him into really bad paths for you to re-fear. So you need to follow. Sometimes you need to follow the fear to re-fear, because then you don't need to fake the bear charge. But it was such a beautiful game. I think it was one of our best games against Warrior Druids. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna bring more of these games. I'm gonna try to get clips for rogue healers, but they are very hard to find good clips because at the moment it feels like I don't have the gear to compete. Like I'm still in full honor gear to compete with the rogues gear, and because of that, we always need 10 extra seconds. And if either me or Sebe had just a little bit more gear against the rogue priest, for example, we would start winning more than we lose. But at the moment, that's not the case. Keep in mind, we pretty much didn't get any points, arena points, until this last week, just because it was impossible to push without gear. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Um, the goal is to reach rank 1 Gladiator at least. I think it's completely doable in 2s and in 3s for sure as Roguelock Druid. Once my Rogue comes back, I'm gonna start having Roguelock Druid clips, which I think you don't have that many on the internet. And I'm gonna leave some comms. What I'm gonna do is like divide 2v2. I just talk, and in 3s I let you hear the comms and then I pause. Let's try those formats. But I hope you enjoy the games. They are not the best players, but for example, this last part didn't matter who player it was in the end, because if you get into that situation, you just lose. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.